Let's be honest. No one is watching you. Not the way you think. You feel like people are judging you, watching your every move, waiting for you to fail. But they're not. They're too busy thinking about themselves, their problems, their life, their fears, just like you. And that's the truth no one tells you. No one really cares. Not your failures, not your mistakes, not even your potential. And at first, that sounds harsh, almost unfair, because a part of you wants support, wants someone to notice, to encourage you, to believe in you. But most of the time, that doesn't happen. And here where people break. They think, if no one cares, what's the point? So they stop trying. They hold back. They stay quiet. They don't take risks. Because they're afraid of judgment. Afraid of failure. Afraid of what people might think. But here's the irony. The same people you're afraid of are not even paying attention. You're holding yourself back for an audience that isn't even watching. Think about that. All the things you didn't start. All the risks you didn't take. All the chances you ignored. Because of people who don't even care. That's how powerful this illusion is. It keeps you small. It keeps you safe. It keeps you stuck. But once you see the truth, everything changes. Because if no one is watching, you're free. Free to try. Free to fail. Free to start again. Without pressure. Without judgment. Without fear. And that's powerful. Because now, the only thing left is you. And what you decide to do next, if no one really cares. Then why does it feel like they do? Why does it feel like everyone is watching you? Judging you? Waiting for you to mess up? Because of one thing. Your mind. Your brain is built to protect you. Not to make you successful. To keep you safe. And thousands of years ago, that made sense. If people rejected you, you were alone. And being alone meant danger. So your brain learned. Fit in, don't stand out, don't risk. And even today, that instinct is still there. Even though your life is completely different. You're not in danger. But your brain doesn't know that. So every time you think about doing something new, starting something, taking a risk, showing yourself, it sends a signal. Stop. What if people judge you? What if you fail? What if you look stupid? And just like that, you pull back. Not because you can't do it, but because it feels uncomfortable. And discomfort feels like danger. So you stay where it's safe. Where no one sees you. Where no one judges you. Where nothing changes. And that's the trap. Because safety is exactly what's keeping you stuck. You're not avoiding failure. You're avoiding growth. You're choosing comfort over possibility. And the more you do that, the stronger that fear becomes. Until one day, you don't even question it. You just live small, quiet, invisible, and tell yourself, this is just who I am. But it's not. It's just a habit, a pattern, a way of thinking that you learned. And what you learned, you can unlearn, but only if you face it. Only if you question it. Only if you push against it. Because on the other side of that fear, is everything you want. There's a moment, small but powerful, when something inside you shifts. You get tired, not physically, mentally, tired of overthinking, tired of holding back, tired of living for people who aren't even paying attention. And suddenly, you see it clearly. You've been stopping yourself all this time. Not them. You. Because of fear. Because of imagined judgment. Because of what if. And in that moment, you make a decision. Not a loud one. Not something you announce. But something real. You stop caring. Not in a careless way, but in a free way. You stop asking, what will they think? And start asking, what do I want? That question changes everything. Because now your actions are yours. Not influenced, not controlled, not limited. Yours. So you start, even if it's messy. Even if it's imperfect, even if it feels uncomfortable, you do it anyway. And guess what happens? Nothing. No one laughs. No one stops you. No one even notices. And that realization, it's powerful because it proves something. The fear was in your head. And once you see that, you can't go back, because now you know. You were free the whole time. You just didn't act like it. So you take another step, and another, and another, not because it's easy, but because it's yours. And slowly, you build something new. Confidence, not fake, not loud, real. The kind that comes from action, from doing what you were afraid of, from showing up even when it's uncomfortable. And that confidence, it grows every time you choose yourself, every time you act despite fear, every time you move forward, without waiting for approval. And that's when everything changes. Because now, you're no longer controlled by fear. You're driven by action at some point. You realize something simple, but life-changing. You don't need approval. Not from friends. Not from strangers. Not from anyone. Because approval was never the thing that would change your life. Action was. But you were waiting. Waiting for someone to say, you're good enough. You can do it. You should start. And because that didn't come, you stayed still. But now, you understand something different. No one is coming to approve your life. And that's not sad. That's powerful. Because it means you don't need permission. You can start without validation. You can act without support. You can move without applause. And that changes how you live. You stop explaining yourself. You stop trying to impress people. You stop caring about opinions that don't build your future. Because now, you're focused. Focused on what matters. Your growth. Your actions. Your life. And when you live like that, something shifts inside you. You become stronger. Not because life is easier, but because you're no longer distracted. No longer controlled by what others think. No longer limited by invisible pressure. And that gives you something rare. Freedom. The freedom to try. The freedom to fail. The freedom to build your life your way. And most people never reach this point. Because they stay stuck in approval. Stuck in comparison. stuck in fear. But you're moving past that. You're becoming someone who acts, not for attention, not for validation, but for yourself. And that's where real power comes from. Now you understand it. No one is watching you. No one is waiting for you to fail. No one is thinking about you as much as you thought. And instead of feeling bad about it, you see the truth. This is your advantage. Because if no one cares, you're free. Free to start. Free to fail. Free to try again. Without pressure. Without judgment. Without limits. All the fear that was stopping you was built on something that doesn't even exist. An audience that isn't there. And now, you're no longer controlled by it. You don't wait for the perfect moment. You don't wait for approval. You don't wait for someone to believe in you. Because you don't need it. You act. You move. You build. Not for them. For yourself. And that's where everything changes. Because the moment you stop caring about being judged, you start becoming who you were meant to be. You take risks. You speak up. You try things you avoided for years. And yes, sometimes you'll fail. Sometimes it won't work. But this time, you won't stop. Because failure doesn't scare you anymore. Being stuck does. And that's the difference. Most people stay small because they're afraid of what people might think. You grow because you finally understand. No one cares. And that's your freedom. So use it. Start that thing. Take that risk. Make that move. Because the only thing that was holding you back was never real. And now, you're finally free.